Hey guys, this video is going to be about gimbals for the GoPro Hero 5 and what it's like to run with them. There's a lot of stuff out there on the internet and on YouTube about how great these gimbals are, how bad they are, but not a whole lot about what it's actually like running with them. And so kind of by accident, I ended up with 3 of these. They're all going back, they're all being returned except for one of them, and that's this one, the GoPro Karma Grip. And in this video I'm going to tell you why I'm keeping this one. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one first. This is the Evo GP Pro. It's the one that's was made before the Hero 5 came out, and it was kind of modified a little bit to fit the Hero 5. And I just didn't think it was worth it. I didn't think that it felt like it was made for the Hero 5. Obviously it wasn't, but it just didn't feel right. Inside you get some stickers and stuff. This is the gimbal right here, and that you just saw that's one of the things that I really didn't like about this one. It's got an extension tube on here that you have to unscrew this to get the battery on. But this one right here, it just felt like it was it kept hitting. You have to have it on for it to not hit as much, and then even when it is on, it still kind of hits. It feels like it's made to be kept protected, like in a studio environment or maybe at home. It's probably the best gimbal out of all of them, but it does not feel like it's made for running, and I would not trust it. It definitely feels the most expensive, but it also feels like it's the easiest to break, which is, I don't know if you guys can picture that. You really don't feel like you should take it out in the woods running with it or be able to beat it up at all. The other thing that's really bad about this is that you have to put the GoPro Hero 5 in such a way that it covers up the on-off button or the mode button. And for me, that was just kind of a deal breaker, because once I put the GoPro in the gimbal, I didn't want to have it on already. I didn't want to have to worry about that. And I really didn't want to only rely on just hitting the record button to start recording, and then never being able to change like the frame rate or anything like that. Because there's a lot of times where I'll be going and I'll be shooting in 24 frames per second, and I'll want to bump it up to 120 to get some slow-mo. And it's just, that was kind of a deal breaker as well for me on this gimbal right here. It was also the most expensive, coming in at $350 for a gimbal that wasn't going to do everything I wanted it to do for running. Like I said, it's probably the best gimbal out of all 3 of these for just normal use, like at home, like just filming things. But if you're taking it out into the woods and getting it dirty and having to actually change settings on the fly, it didn't work for me. The next one is the FEIYU G5. This one just came out, and it actually is made for the Hero 5. So they say. I actually liked this one better than the Evo. It worked a little bit better for me for running. So let's take it out. It comes with a little carrying case, which is kind of nice. The Evo didn't come with any sort of carrying case. And then this is all it is. This is as big as it is. It's the smallest gimbal out of all of them, which is really nice. The weird thing is, it also feels like it wasn't totally made for the Hero 5, because you have to have this extra weight on here to make it work with the Hero 5. And I understand, like, they wanted to make it backwards compatible too, able to work with the Hero 4s, and those are lighter cameras, so you could take the weight off, but it still feels a little weird. It's a lot heavier than the Evo, so that's something to think about. It does say that it has the best battery life. I never actually tested that out, because within the first couple minutes I knew I wasn't going to keep this gimbal. One upgrade to this over the Evo is the ability to put the GoPro in 2 different ways. You can install it right side up or upside down. You're able to put it in upside down so that you can hit the on, off, or mode button. This was probably the worst quality actual stabilization. it was really wobbly. You'd come around a corner and there would be a big sway. It was not very quick. The joystick worked okay, but not great. If you turned this off and you were running with it, the GoPro actually smacked into the handle, so that was really annoying. This, out of all of them, was the loudest, and you could really hear it on the mic, same as the Evo, and it's just really hard to take it out. It didn't seem worth it to try and really pull it out later. But yeah, this was a close second to the GoPro gimbal. But the other thing, the last couple times I tried to turn it on, it freaked out and it couldn't tell which way was up, and it started almost sounding like it was gonna go to infinity until it burned out the motors. It just kind of sat there and just shook like really loudly. So the other thing about this and the Evo is that when you put it in, these pieces right here would actually, they scratched the bottom of my GoPro. Both of them did. It just seemed like it was another gimbal that was kind of almost all the way there, but just didn't totally do it for me. I'm not keeping this one either. It does say that it's supposed to be water resistant. Never tested that though, so I don't know. That would be nice. It's almost the perfect gimbal. If it wasn't so loud and didn't freak out on me and scratch up the GoPro, I probably would have kept this. And finally, the GoPro Karma Grip. This is, at the end of the day, what I'm going to end up keeping. It's got a lot of things wrong with it, but it's got a lot of things that are actually going for it as well, for running specifically. It's got the worst battery life. They say an hour and 45 minutes up to 2 hours, which is horrible. But it does have real USB charging, so you can charge it with a USB brick power supply. It's got the best case. You can just keep the GoPro in there. It actually charges the GoPro battery, so the only battery that's actually working is this one that's inside the gimbal. I think that's probably why it doesn't have the best battery life. So you just turn it on right there, and then it kind of says that it's searching. It's got it says USB connected. Now it's going. One huge plus to this is that it's got buttons on the handle, and you can actually control everything from recording, powering it on and off, changing the modes, changing the pan and the tilt. It's all integrated right there in the handle. This was the big thing for me. When you turn it off, you can run with it, and it kind of knocks around and does some things, but it doesn't. The camera never hits anything. So I'm not really worried about this when I'm running. But what I was not happy about was with the other two gimbals, the camera would smack into the handle just repeatedly, and it wasn't protected by any sort of case, and it would just over and over and over. You had to keep the gimbal on all the time when you were running. Not the case with this. In a way, if you're running, trying to make a running documentary or film about a race or a vlog or anything like that, this you can turn on and off and keep it by your side and run with it. Whereas the others, you had to keep them on the whole time. And in the end, the battery life might have canceled each other out anyway, for running specifically. At the end of the day, it has pretty good stability. I had one problem on a video that I posted where it would lose the horizon, and that hasn't happened since then. Though if it does, I've read a few things that you can do, turn it off and turn it back on when it's straight up in the air. And then let it sit for 10 seconds or so and it'll find the horizon. One other thing that a lot of people have complained about is that the audio on this is really bad, and it kind of is, because you have to take the side door off to get it in there because it plugs into the USB and the HDMI out. So if you don't do anything with the settings, the audio is really bad, but you can get in there and you can turn it in, you can put it in wind mode, and then you can put the audio processing on low, and that'll give you 3 separate WAV files, actually 4, but one of them just has nothing on it, which is interesting. But it'll give you actually a WAV file with 4 different channels, one of which has nothing on it. And you can pick the best one for whatever part you're editing. The only thing is, what you have to do in your editor is you have to bring the video in and then also bring the audio in and tie those together so that when you're making your cuts that it cuts together, which is kind of annoying, but actually it has the best audio. Once you make that change, it's way better than any of the other gimbals. So at the end of the day, this is what I'm keeping, and this is what you're going to be seeing me running and filming with. It just works the best for running. If you were going to just film home videos and little things around the house, or maybe really keep it protected in certain situations, probably both of the others would be better. If you weren't ever planning on using audio, probably the Evo would be the best, you know. But if you're planning on using audio and running with it, all the things that come with that, this seemed to me to be the best option. It also has this cool thing put on here, and then you can clip it to a backpack. So if you're backpacking, we're taking a trip out to the Sierras pretty soon, so I'm going to use it for that. And with the USB, you can plug it straight into a USB brick, put that in your pocket. You can keep it powered for a long time that way. So battery life doesn't really concern me that much, and it just overall it just won out. So for me, that's what worked the best. That's what I'm keeping. And hopefully this video helped you guys out a little bit if you're searching for a gimbal to use specifically for running, for making running films and documentaries or vlogs. This is the best setup that's working for me, and this is what I'm keeping. The other two are going back to Amazon. So that's it. Hope you like this. I'm going to be trying to make more videos like this, like little reviews of gear or clothes or shoes or whatever that I'm wearing, using while I'm running, biking, or anything like that. So if you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button, like the video, put a comment down below, let me know that you got something out of this, if this helped you, or if it didn't help you, if you want to see more about certain things, let me know. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.